Welcome back, everyone. Let's go ahead and do a comparison between the iPhone 8 and the iPhone SE 2, aka the 2020 model of the iPhone SE in 2022, and see which one you should go and buy. Personally, I think you should buy something like an iPhone 11 or something along those lines, but I do think both these phones have a lot of value, and I think they're still pretty good phones. The iPhone SE 2 is the better one here, but how much better is it? Well, let's go ahead and find out. Now, side by side, first of all, I'll leave some phones I would recommend this year in the description below. You can go and get them from there. You can help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can definitely tell that both these phones look almost identical. Both these devices have the same 4.7-inch panels on the front. I don't even think there's that big of a difference when I'm looking at them from each angle. They're almost identically the same. So you can tell for yourself they are almost identically the same exact device. And I don't really think that's a bad thing, but I don't think that's a good thing for the SE2. That's definitely not a good thing for the SE3. Now, in terms of the actual home button, everything exactly the same as well. There's not really a difference there. In terms of the actual thinness and thickness, it's almost identically the same exact thing, as well as most of you can probably tell. We have the exact same thinness and the exact same thickness, and that's because they have the exact same internal design and the exact same body as well. I do like the SE2 in some ways because it does have a little bit of a better, I would say better color structure. I don't know if we actually had a silver or white model of the iPhone 8. I can't remember for the life of me, but at least we have that on the SE2, which is nice. And on the back, we have almost exactly the same setup as well. Now, my SE2 is, completely free of any cracks. My iPhone 8 does have a few cracks here and there, which just happens when you own a phone. Single camera setups on the back as well. Wireless charging, IP certification, pretty much the same exact thing on the outside. Like I mentioned, there's not really that big of a difference here. The bigger differences are when we start getting into speed and everything. No headphone jack in either one, just lightning ports. And that kind of covers it up on the outside. Now, in terms of the actual, speed and everything, we'll test that in a second. But the biggest problem I would say with the iPhone 8 is it's probably with its software updates. I'm not too sure how much longer this phone is going to last in terms of software. I have a feeling it's going to last for, maybe another year. But it is technically the lowest supported iPhone on iOS 16. So that is actually pretty insane, the fact that this iPhone is now the lowest. It just not that long ago, it wasn't even that old. But you can see for yourself here, iOS 16 on here, as well as on this device. And I don't know if I can tell from the lock screen as well. So I think that's really cool. Unfortunately, this phone isn't going to be lasting much longer, but because the iPhone SE2 does have pretty much the same chipset as the iPhone, 11, I believe, and this iPhone is going to be lasting for a period of time longer than the iPhone 8. And I think that's a good thing for the iPhone 8, and I think that's a good thing for the iPhone SE2, not necessarily a great thing for the iPhone 8, but it is what it is. Like I said before, there's really not too much we can do about it at that standpoint. So now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these devices. The iPhone 8 has that Apple 11 bionic chip inside of it with 2 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone SE2 has that Apple A13 bionic chip inside of it with 3 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one is the faster one between both of these. Okay, there we go. All the apps should be cleared out in the background, as you guys can tell, except obviously for the iPhone 8. And I'm actually leaning these two phones on another iPhone SE, which is the iPhone SE3. So let's go and get started. iPhone SE2 is here. iPhone 8 is here. Phone calls 321. Both are on iOS 16, like I mentioned before. Pretty much the same thing here. Music, which I don't have here. App Store 321. And the iPhone 8 actually looked a little bit faster there, which is kind of surprising. Getting into this one, okay. Took a little bit longer to load on the iPhone 8, but it did load up faster on the iPhone 8, which is weird. Mail 321. iPhone 8 SE2 is faster. iPhone 8 a little bit slower. Hopping out of here, clock 321. I think it was faster on the iPhone 8. That one was very, very surprising. Apple TV 321. iPhone SE2 was faster, but it was looking like the iPhone 8 was going to be the faster one there. Camera 321. iPhone SE2 faster, get there too. Let's do photos 321. And the iPhone SE2 is actually the faster one. So there's been a few flip-flops here and there, but the iPhone SE2 I think has been consistently the faster one here, which is always good to see. Podcast 321. iPhone SE2 again is a faster one. Now let's go and get into some of these third-party apps. We can try Genshin Impact 321. That's a pretty big game for the most part, so it will be kind of surprising to see which one is the faster one here. And it's looking like the SE2 was the faster one to get into the title screen. The iPhone 8, a little bit behind. Again, not that big of a deal, but something to keep in mind. Hopping out of here, let's go and get into some of these third-party apps, which I think I have. There we go. Fruit Ninja, which we'll just skip. Facebook, 321. Fruit Ninja just always gives me issues. There's no point in doing it. iPhone SE2 is faster. Hopping out of here, Twitter, 321. SE2 again is a faster one here. iPhone 8 a little bit behind, so that's good to see we're seeing a faster phone. Netflix 321. The iPhone 8 definitely kind of glitched up there when I clicked on it. Not really too sure what was going on there. Quizlet 321. Okay, iPhone SE2 again is a faster one. iPhone 8 a little bit behind. Stack 321. And the iPhone SE2 again is the faster one, followed by the iPhone 8 a little bit behind. Hopping out of here, we can try Snapchat 321. And the iPhone SE2 is faster. iPhone 8 definitely a little bit behind there as well. Let's go and get into Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 8 actually loaded that one up a little bit faster, which was kind of surprising there. And the iPhone SE2 is faster, followed by the iPhone 8. So this is actually Temple Run 1. I kind of forgot about that. So ultimately, I definitely do think that the iPhone SE2 is the faster one consistently. I think the iPhone 8 did a decent job, but there were definitely some moments which you guys saw that the iPhone 8 was kind of a little bit sluggish at. I don't think it was a deal breaker or anything annoying, but I definitely do think when it comes down to the performance side, the iPhone SE2 is definitely the faster one. Now, in terms of the actual camera comparison, I'll definitely tell you both these phones are very interesting because they are almost identically the same exact phone. They both have the same 12 megapixel camera on the back. They also have pretty much the same type of front camera as well. 4K 60 on the back, 1080p on the front. Really, the only difference I can think of is that the iPhone SE2 does have portrait mode, where the iPhone 8 does not have portrait mode at all. So, is this a big deal? Well, it depends. I always thought that the iPhone 8's camera really wasn't crazy good compared to its successors, which were pretty much the 8 Plus and iPhone 10. So I think that's pretty much one thing to keep in mind. But I do think with this type of phone, it's still decent. I don't think there's a reason to go from the iPhone 8 to the iPhone SE2 just because of the camera. I think there's like maybe a few other reasons, but there's really not a crazy big difference here with the camera. You still have photo mode, video mode, you still have 4K 60 on the back. Like I said, there's just no portrait mode like we have on the SE2. So with something like the iPhone 8's camera, I don't really think it's that bad. But the SE2's camera, like I said before, is actually pretty decent. I mean, you have, the 4K 60, the same thing on both, same resolutions you can film in. But you have that portrait mode, which is pretty nice for most people out there. Having portrait mode means that you can go ahead and take really nice portrait photos of other subjects and other people. So I'm a big fan of that too. You still have slow mode like you have on both, but portrait mode really, means a lot to some people out there. You have the filtering options here too. So I'll probably tell you that this is a really good phone for that. But other than that, I mean, you can go and buy like another phone that has portrait mode, like an iPhone 10 or even an iPhone 7 Plus. So it's not really that crazy big of a difference there, in my opinion. So when it comes down to it, what I'll definitely tell you is I think both these phones are very much similar in so many different ways. The bodies are almost identical. They look almost the same. Like if you gave me an iPhone 8 or iPhone SE2, maybe I would be able to tell the difference like with this color scheme, but other than that, you wouldn't really be able to tell that big of a difference. The battery lives are, better on the SE2 as well, but I think the SE2 is the better phone. It's going to last longer, better performance, longevity is with this phone, maybe better camera with portrait mode, but I don't think it's a big upgrade from the iPhone 8. Like I wouldn't go from an iPhone 8 to the SE2. If you have an iPhone 8, I would recommend just keeping it until you can afford something maybe like an iPhone 11 or an iPhone, even like an iPhone 12. Those phones will definitely be giving you a better experience than this one, but an SE2 is still a really good phone. If you don't have either one of these, you can go for an SE2. Maybe if you want to still maintain Touch ID or something, then go for it. But other than that, I would recommend going up to an iPhone 11 or 12 or 13 even better. So that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.